Did you know the King James Bible used to contain the Apocrypha? It's true. The most famous Protestant Bible printed these books right between the Old and New Testament. It wasn't until the 1800s that many Protestants started dropping the Apocrypha, also known as the Deuterocanon, from their table of contents. So why should Protestants even bother reading these books today? I've got some reasons that might be hard to ignore. To start, what if I told you Martin Luther wanted Protestants to read the Apocrypha? Now, Luther and the other reformers did argue that the Apocrypha was not divinely inspired scripture. But instead of getting rid of them entirely, Luther placed them in a different section and said, these are books which are not held equal to sacred scripture, and yet are useful and good to read. Other Protestant Bibles, like the Geneva Bible and, as mentioned before, the KJV, also included the Apocrypha for centuries. In other words, even reformers who rejected them from the biblical canon still wanted everyday Christians to read them for history, wisdom, and edification, especially because the Deuterocanon has a lot to say about Israel's history. I'm assuming you've heard of the 400 years of silence between the book of Malachi and the book of Matthew. That's 400 years of history that Protestants just don't really know about because there's no books to talk about it in scripture. But here's the thing, those 400 years weren't silent at all. The Apocrypha fills that gap. Books like 1st and 2nd Maccabees explain the Jewish struggle under Greek rule, the origin of Hanukkah, and the deep longing for a Messiah. Wisdom, Sirach, Tobit revealed Jewish piety, theology, and moral teaching in this period. Reading them gives context for why the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the Zealots were debating as much as they were by the time of Jesus. So by the time you get to the New Testament, if you've read the Deuterocanon, you can understand a lot of the cultural background of the time. And not only does it give you a good historical background for Jesus' culture, Jesus himself read the Apocrypha, because the Bible that Jesus read at the time would have included it. During the time of Jesus, the most widespread translation of scripture was the Septuagint, a Greek translation for Jewish communities outside of Israel. So Jesus and his disciples grew up hearing books like Esdras and Tobit read aloud in their synagogues. So from a young age, these stories and teachings are baked into their minds, whether they thought they were scripture or not. And because of this, the apostles and other writers of the New Testament include many allusions to the Apocrypha. In Hebrews 11, there is a famous passage known as the Hall of Faith, where the writer of Hebrews recounts various Old Testament heroes who put their life on the line for God. But in verse 35, there's a curious story you can't find anywhere in the Old Testament. Women received their dead by resurrection. Others were tortured, refusing to accept release in order to obtain a better resurrection. This is a reference to a story of martyrdom found in 2nd Maccabees 7. What about James 1:19, which says, "You must understand this, my beloved. Let everyone be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to anger." It sounds a lot similar to Sirach 5:11, which says, "Be quick to hear, slow to speak." And the content in Romans 1:19-32 is very similar to the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13 and 14. Now sure, the Apocrypha isn't quoted word for word in the New Testament, but neither is Esther, and that's biblical canon according to Protestants. History shows us that these writings shaped the spiritual world of Jesus, his contemporaries, and by extension, the apostles' teachings. So of course, the content of the Deuterocanon is going to be passed down. And we know for a fact that the church fathers also read the Apocrypha. Figures like Augustine, Athanasius, and Irenaeus have shaped Christian thought as we know it, still to this day. Irenaeus actually learned from a student of the Apostle John, whose name was Polycarp, like many of the church fathers. And these heroes of the faith cited the Deuterocanon in arguments, sermons, and theological writings. They were also used in early church worship and lectionaries, because many people in the early church thought they were inspired scripture. There wasn't a consensus on that though. Prominent church father is Jerome, who famously translated the entire Bible into Latin, including the Apocrypha. But he didn't consider those books at the same level as the rest of the biblical canon. And yet, even though he didn't consider them to be scripture, Jerome saw the Deuterocanon as useful for moral instruction and teaching. But there are groups who do consider these books to be scripture. Have you ever wondered why Catholics pray to the dead or Orthodox chant certain hymns? Those things come from the Deuterocanon, which they consider to be inspired scripture. And reading the Apocrypha can help you understand Catholics and Orthodox better. If Protestants want to dialogue meaningfully with these groups, understanding these texts helps Protestants understand where their traditions are rooted and why they approach scripture so differently at times. This is incredibly helpful for church unity. If you want to see the church united, a big part of that is walking in the shoes of fellow Christians who may read different pieces of scripture or have different traditions than you. Honestly, even if you don't want church unity, maybe you just want to debate Catholics or debunk Orthodox. Reading the Apocrypha helps with that, because how are you ever going to address what they believe if you're taking out this entire chunk of scripture that they hold as infallible? Understanding the Apocrypha will help you do that. Not that that's the point of this channel, of course. The Apocrypha shaped Jesus' world, the early church, and the Protestant reformers. It is an important collection of writings, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Until then, I'm Joey. This is Christianity United.